So you want to learn how to write a TV pilot script? Good call. The market's growing. Writers rule in television. And you probably need a pilot TV show in your arsenal anyway to increase your options. The problem is the world of TV can be a confusing place for an aspiring writer. There's multi-camera versus single camera, networks versus cable, serials versus episodic, limited series versus anthologies, etc. And something called a TV show Bible that you're not even sure if you need. Confused by how to write a pilot for Netflix or Hulu? Or any cable channel or network for that matter? This post aims to dispel much of the confusion surrounding how to write a TV pilot episode. We'll strip everything back to its bare basics and give you a solid foundation on which to write one. From the ground up. The problem with most advice on writing a TV pilot is that it's top-down. That is, you'll hear lots of nuggets of information like know your audience, include set UPS and payoffs, and your show must have legs. What's missing here is real advice on how to actually craft a compelling story execs will want to buy. We all know, for example, that writing is rewriting. But advice like this doesn't really help much if you don't have a strategic plan for writing the first draft in the first place. You might be left blindly writing and rewriting the same mistakes. To approach how to write a TV pilot script from the ground up means approaching it systematically with a game plan. And this is what we're going to show you how to do. Before we get started, let's take a look at a few industry definitions. What is a pilot script? As an aspiring writer, you'll be writing a TV pilot episode on spec. That is, speculatively for free, with the hope someone in the industry will read it and like it enough to either take you on. Either as a client, as a staff member, or maybe even buy the show. Back in the day, it was common for aspiring writers to write a spec television pilot based on an existing, usually currently on air, show. This would then be used as a calling card to show off their writing chops and get hired on the writing staff. Or on a similar show. How to write a TV pilot script for today's market. However, after years of industry people getting flooded with Spec 30 Rock and Sopranos scripts, the process has changed a little. You might still get somewhere writing a spec of an existing show. Nowadays, though, it's more advisable to write a TV pilot based on your own original idea. People want to see not only that you can write to order, but that you have the imagination to come up with original, exciting ideas. And sustain them over the course of a whole season. What's pilot season? Some kind of shooting spree? Very few writers, especially aspiring writers, are lucky enough to have their script go straight to series. In other words, have a studio buy their entire series and put it straight on air, without first making a pilot. This is slowly changing, but most TV writers still have to go through the nail-biting hell known as pilot season. This is the 5 or so months from January through May when dozens of pilots get made, but not all of them get picked up. Or given the green light to be made into a series. It's a very stressful time. What's a TV Bible, and do I need one? For now, though, all you need to worry about is how to write a TV pilot episode. Don't worry about coming up with 10 episodes for a whole season. And there's no need right now to come up with a show Bible. This is a more polished outline designed to show to execs and producers when you're hawking the script around town. You'll need to write an outline, a breakdown of the story and characters, but a Bible can wait until you've garnered some interest in the pilot TV show. When you really need to give people something more concrete. We include some TV Bible examples later in the post. For now, though, let's get started with writing a pilot script. How to write a TV pilot script. Step number 1, focus on your reason for writing it. You may already have a pilot series you're working on, or at least an idea of the kind of one you'd like to write. When it comes to writing a television pilot, though, the first step is to understand why you want to write it. We often hear writers give reasons like these as to why they want to write a TV pilot episode. I heard I need one in my portfolio. It's easier than writing a feature. I want to sell it ASAP. I'll write a sitcom because it's only 30 pages. All of these reasons are fair enough. But you'll stand much more chance of writing a TV pilot episode that will actually sell if you're actually passionate about television in the first place. Passion plus the long haul. If you have an idea for a story that you're excited about and think it belongs on the small screen rather than the big screen, then this passion is more likely to come out in your writing. While comedy TV pilots, for example, are often only around 25 to 35 pages long, this doesn't make writing them any easier. In fact, it's often harder to write comedy. So you need to make sure you're certain you're in it for the long haul, i.e. months and months of rewrites. And about potentially repeating this process over multiple episodes without getting bored with writing about the same characters. Rather than just having a vague sense of wanting to write a TV pilot, really try to pinpoint why. Is it for a calculated reason like those outlined above? Or because you really have a passion for telling extended stories over multiple seasons? As opposed to self-contained ones that wrap in 110 pages. Do you feel like you're born to do this? Let's stick with the comedy pilot example for a moment. Have you spent your life watching sitcoms from when you were a kid? Can you recite lines from your favorite episodes? Do you love throwing out one-liners with your friends? Do you know the names of your favorite writers and follow them from show to show? Answering yes to most of the above is a sign you have the dedication and passion to succeed as a TV comedy writer. Alternatively, if you've already mastered how to write features and decided now's the time to write a pilot script, this is a more strategic move, but it's also a sensible one. It's true that the more variety you have in your portfolio, the better. Television's a great place for writers at the moment, so don't hesitate to grab a piece of the pie. How to write a TV pilot script. Step number 2, select 3 of your favorite shows. This is where you take all that repetitive top-down advice you've heard on how to write a TV pilot script, and instead approach it from the other way around, from the ground up. Advice such as make sure you fully set up the world of the story, or remember to include 3 clear A, B and C stories isn't necessarily wrong, it's just not very easy to actually apply. However, by studying how the pilots of 3 of your favorite shows set up the story world, define their A, B and C stories, planned payoffs, etc., you'll learn how to do the same in your own TV pilot episode. Start with 6 TV shows. Start by selecting 6 TV shows that most resemble the kind of TV pilot script you want to write. These should arc back to your reason for wanting to write the show in the first place and your passion for television as discussed in the previous step. To help with this, have a think about the following 3 questions. 1. What are the 6 TV shows you wish you'd written? 2. What is it about them that you love so much? 3. What shows can you watch over and over again? Got 6? Good. Now it's time to refine the list in 2 ways, by genre and format. TV pilot genre. Start by seeing which shows overlap on the list when it comes to genre. Focus on which major similarities there are between your choices. Are they mainly comedies, political dramas, or fantasy action/adventures? If so, you already know pretty much what genre your television pilot is going to be. On the other hand, if you selected 1 comedy, a crime drama, 3 police procedurals and a sci-fi thriller, then you need to give it a little more thought. This is because as you're starting out learning how to write a TV pilot script, it's best to hone your skills in only 1 genre. Even though there's much blending of genres going on in TV right now with shows like Stranger Things mixing sci-fi, crime drama, comedy, fantasy and horror, try to nail down which broad genre you think you'd have most fun writing. Don't worry about budgets or what's hot right now on TV. Focus on your passion and what types of characters and situations you can imagine still being inspired to write about in a year's time. TV pilot script format. Once you've decided which genre you'd like to focus on, it's time to refine the list down to a single TV pilot format. Take a look at your 6 shows and see where they overlap regarding the 4 major formats: episodic, serial, anthology or limited. Here's a quick breakdown of each. You can find TV pilot examples of each in our post 50 best TV scripts to download and read for free. 1 Episodic pilot script template. These are shows with self-contained stories each week. You generally don't need to know what happened the previous week because it's a new episode and an entirely new story, but with the same cast of characters. Examples of episodic TV shows are Community, Law and Order, The X-Files. While each episode is self-contained, these shows can also often have overarching stories from season to season. Ross and Rachel's relationship in Friends, for example, has continual ups and downs that span the entire course of the show in one long sustained storyline. 2 Serial pilot script template. The key difference here is that it's essential you've seen the previous episode because otherwise you're not going to know what's going on. It's one big story, told over many seasons, with each episode progressing the plot. Examples of TV serials include Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Generally regarded as more highbrow than episodic TV, serials tend to be where we get the notion we're in the middle of television's golden age. 3 Anthology pilot script template. Anthology series are kind of a mix of episodic and serial TV shows in that they contain self-contained seasons instead of episodes. An anthology series will usually feature the same location, genre, and themes, but change its cast from season to season. Some examples include American Horror Story, Fargo, The Sinner. Anthology series have made a major comeback in recent years as the general trend toward better written and produced television has increased. 4 Limited pilot script template. Formerly known as a mini-series, a limited series tells a complete story from beginning to end in around 8 to 10 episodes, a bit like taking a whole serial and condensing it down to just one season. Here are some examples of popular limited TV series. Feud, Bet and Joan. Sharp Objects. Twin Peaks, The Return. The problem with limited series is that they're often so popular that producers can't resist extending them into anthologies or serials, but at the risk of losing their appeal. Some people argue that Big Little Lies and Stranger Things, for example, might have been better off left as limited series. Check out our post 50 best TV scripts to download and read for free for a comprehensive list of pilots to study. Nail it down to 3 TV shows. By considering how your 6 favorite TV shows fit into these genres and formats, you'll hopefully be able to select 3 that share both of these elements in common. If your list contains 30 Rock, The Big Bang Theory, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Frasier, Modern Family, and Parks and Recreation, for example, then it's clear the 3 TV pilots to select should either be single-camera or multi-camera sitcoms. 30 Rock, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Modern Family, and Parks and Recreation are single-camera sitcoms, while The Big Bang Theory and Frasier are multi-camera. Read more about the difference between the two in our post on how to write a TV show. If, on the other hand, your list contains Big Little Lies, The Sinner, Sharp Objects, and Twin Peaks, The Return, then it's clear you're more inclined toward crime drama, whether that's as a limited series or a serial. Analyze your 3 TV pilots. Once you have 3 shows, it's time to break down and analyze them. Yes, great writing requires originality, but it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's built upon and inspired by great writing that came before it. Look at each one as a kind of pilot script template that you can use to launch your own story from. Not to copy, but to be inspired by. By analyzing the TV pilots and shows you love, you'll gain a stronger grasp of why you love them and what makes them work. Then can you move on to actually writing your own? While you might have a great idea and just want to get stuck into the writing, don't underestimate the importance of this prep work. To skip it is essentially the same as expecting Jimi Hendrix to have come up with Purple Haze out of nowhere without first spending years studying and playing rhythm and blues. You need a solid foundation for this harder than it looks enterprise of writing a TV pilot episode. And that foundation can be built through watching, rewatching, studying and breaking down the kind of pilot TV show you want to write. How to write a TV pilot.